Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Thriving Lives podcast, to our weekly community Zoom call. Tonight, we are going to be talking about vacations, right? It's a perfect time of year. It is currently June 5th, and I've got my vacation coming up actually this coming Sunday. So I figured it was a good time to start talking about it. Plus, I know a lot of clients have already been currently going on vacations or have them planned for later on the summer. I know Renee has a couple little trips planned in the next couple weeks. So I think it's a good time to put out some solid reminders on vacations, how to handle them coming up, leading up to it, during and after. So that's what we're going to be diving into tonight. Before we get rolling, though, Renee, how's your last week been? How was your workout today, first and foremost?
It's a sensitive topic. Today's workout was not good. I kind of forced myself to go because I needed to fit in leg day, and I was like, well, I don't really have time for leg day, but I have to do anyways. So I went to the gym. It was super busy. All my favorite squat racks were taken, and then the weight just was not moving in its normal way.
Yeah.
And then this guy came up to me and just was not having it. And then I tried to finish some of my workout, and some of it was good, but I had to go down on weight, which is just never fun.
Yeah.
And then I came home and had a Taco Bowl, and I'm feeling better, and we're all good again. But week's
Yeah.
been good. Work's been good, and
Was from the workout, I forgot to ask you this earlier. Do
what's
you
up?
feel like it's just one of those off days at the gym that we all have at different times, or do you feel like, your body's been stressed? I know you've been in a deficit for a while. You were pushing hard for the photo shoot that we did a week or so ago. Like, do you think your body just needed a break, or do you just think it was one of those off?
I had really good leg day, like really good workouts last week. I think for me, I'm still trying to learn my cycle, and I think my body changes a lot on my cycle.
Yeah.
But so I think it just depends on where I'm at in my cycle, which I don't really know where I'm at right now, which is not good. But based on everything, like on my mood and emotion and everything, I would say I'm in my luteal phase, which is I go over this with my clients all the time about like when you're on certain like the second half of your cycle, your just weight is generally heavier, you feel more bloated, you don't feel as lean, irritable, like more irritable, more tired, more hungry, which I'm experiencing all those right now.
All those
So
things. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, well, I guess that's where I'm at, even though my temperature is not telling me that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So just little things like that. Like it's definitely helpful when I'm in the gym and I realize like, because in the past I just would shame myself and be like, well, why am I not like, why can I not lift this? And now instead of lifting like 135, I'll bump it down or whatever. And then yeah, but I kept trying to work out instead of just leaving.
Yeah.
So my body
Uh,
is, I mean, I was in a pretty strict deficit, moving a lot, working out a lot. And then for the last week since the photo shoot, I've kind of taken a little like gap, not an entire gap week, but somewhat of a gap week, a little let loose.
yeah. A
Um,
little less intensive.
and then, yeah, I think just mentally for me. But I'm still staying in my, I'd say 1600 to 1700 calories for my deficit. And then after it'll be shot in 2 weeks for 2 weeks when I'm on vacation for two
Oh,
weeks.
vacation. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be tough.
Yep.
But
Which
good
is
thing we're
great
talking,
though.
we're talking
It'll
about
be
vacations tonight, though. For that
yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, that's kind of my spiel and my workouts, but still trying to get in like the high enough steps. But again, I listen to my body, and if I'm just done for, like I won't. Um, but like I think you made a post on this too. Like you have to earn that. Like you have to earn that to where you can take more breaks, if that makes sense. Like if I just started out my journey and gave myself all this grace, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You
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 have
you
to
you you want to have ever been able to build momentum or discipline or
no,
skills or
no,
habits and systems and that type of shit if you're giving yourself too much grace up
yeah,
front. We have to kind of dive into it and really, I mean, yeah, kind of earn it to some extent. And that's one of those hard truths. Um, about that exact thing, right? Most
yeah,
people, they want to come in, they say, I don't want to have to check my macros. I don't want to, I want flexibility. I want sustainability, which I'm all for sustainability. Of course, that is the goal for everybody and balance is the goal for everybody. But, sometimes just taking baby steps, might have been what you've been doing for years and
Yeah.
didn't work, so we have to try shit that we haven't tried before if we want a different outcome, a different result. And that's uncomfortable, but it's supposed to be uncomfortable, right? Growth is supposed to be uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, you want to be growing during it. If it's easy,
There's
you're
a
going to grow from it.
there's a big difference between maintenance and like actually like cutting and working harder and doing things like that.
Yeah.
And that freedom and maintenance is great,
Mhm.
but it's just all based on what your goals are, where you're at. Um,
Well,
and
and even on the flip
to
side of
be,
that, just building muscle, or the client that I just posted about that came to me eating less than 1,000 calories, and now she's up to like 2,200 calories. That was a whole inverse thing than what the average person might be dealing with. That's maybe want to lose weight. She didn't need to lose weight, but she did need to get fed back up, and so that's challenging in a whole different realm of things, just in a different way. And so yeah, I mean, regardless what your goal is, if to get a different result than what you've been getting, you have to
have to
step outside of your
change.
comfort zone. And yeah, exactly. You have to change
Yeah.
and change what you're doing, change what you're thinking, what your actions look like and stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely makes sense.
So yeah, but that's me. What about you?
Perfect. I don't even know. This last week was pretty solid though. Got some good quality workouts in.
Are you
Um,
back to working out more now? You took that
well,
off.
these last few weeks, I've tried to ramp up a little bit more just because I mean, I
Okay.
took off, damn near 6 weeks of really minimal
Yeah.
working out. When I get back, I have a couple of lab panels that I'm going to run just to check on where things are, if the efforts that I've made have helped kind of, help get my cortisol down a little bit into a better spot. So the last couple of weeks, I have not prioritized yoga as much. I've still gotten in a day or two a week, but nothing like I was doing before that. Still doing daily walks for the most part. But like I said, kind of mixing some other workouts, which again have felt really good. But once I get home from our trip, I'm going to recheck some different lab work and stuff of that nature and kind of see, do I need to take more extreme measures with what I'm doing to fix some things, or am I in a good spot and I'm ready to kind of push at that point? So we'll see. But that's also the benefit, guys, of getting that lab work done. I wouldn't have really known that I had some thyroid situations where they were and cortisol issues where they were if I didn't get those numbers done. And I was about to just start ramping up and pushing really hard on a cut phase, which would have only put me in a worse spot. And I might have pushed that all summer long just for the vanity's sake. And if I don't have those numbers, then I would just put myself in a big hole. So it's what gets measured gets managed. But anyway,
That's
though,
what I do too, is
yeah,
to check
yeah,
my labs
yeah,
after. I didn't want to do it right before vacation. I didn't want to do it on my cut just because of the way I am mentally.
Well, and especially like that's the reason why I'm waiting on a couple of different panels until I get back, because I'm like, depending on what those results come back, I don't want to be stressed about it when I'm really
Yeah.
out of. If I can't control it anyway on vacation, I don't really want to be thinking about it. Um, but yeah, that's a good point as well, though. Usually I wouldn't say, oh, kick the can down the road, but in this situation, I'm like,
All right. I was gonna say
it,
that's
it,
not
it's
the
just
usual.
no, but like
Yeah.
I'm like I literally I paid a good amount of money for this trip, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go there and enjoy it. But then and it's only a few weeks away. If this was months away, I wouldn't be waiting. But anyway, though, let's dive into the topic at hand. We were talking about vacation. So, what I kind of alluded to earlier in the month when I posted what the Zoom call schedule was going to look like. I talked about the 3 things you need to do to set yourself up for success when it comes to vacations, right? So first and foremost, it's the pre-planning. So you have a trip coming up. Maybe you're a month out, maybe you're a week out. Let's just assume that we are talking about vacations. We're not talking about work trips right now. We're not talking about that type of stuff. We are talking specifically about vacation, whether it's a 2-day vacation or it's a 2-week vacation, right? Leading up to that trip. Goodness, Lola, can you hear her?
No.
Okay, you can't hear her? Oh, because it
No.
sounds like she's just screaming and she's right next to me. So if you can't hear her, then I think we're good.
No.
Um, she's so damn distracting. Sorry about that. Anyway, so leading up to the trip, be very intentional about what you're doing, right? So if you know that you're going to go on a trip, for instance, I'm going to be on a 10-day trip. I know that things are going to be off, right? I know I'm not going to be working out much. I'm going to get a ton of steps in, lots of swimming in, but no really workouts. My nutrition's going to be off. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I don't know what the food looks like in Portugal. I'm going to prioritize lots of fish. I love having, lots of fish whenever I go on vacations anywhere near a coast. So I'm probably going to have fish 3 times a day. Like I'm going to really dive into that and enjoy it.
Now, with
But
that being said, I just want to add into that and say, with Marcus saying he doesn't know what it's going to look like, um, piggybacking on that, because of the knowledge Marcus has and because of the knowledge that you guys will gain over time as well, you'll soon be able to figure out roughly like how many calories you're eating and be able to manage that to an extent. Like someone that's just starting, they're not really going to know how many calories are in each food, or they can't really guess. Whereas Marcus has the knowledge and he's going to be able to kind of guess and see maybe some days he wants to go balls to the walls and eat
Yeah.
4,000 calories, whatever.
Yeah.
But most of the time he can look at the portions, look at the meals and think, okay, I'm still in somewhat of a range, or I'm still knowing what foods I want to pick to fuel my body. Does that kind of make sense? I'm trying to say,
No,
Marcus,
no,
as far as like,
it
so
definitely
someone that's just having a first vacation when they've just started Thriving Life Fitness, or they're strictly following the meal plan and they're not tracking, your vacations are going to look very different because you don't have that knowledge yet. And that's not your fault. We're just not there yet. And so the vacations that Marcus and I go on, we were able to navigate those better with our experience and knowledge, but you guys will get there.
Yeah.
So don't feel like confused if you don't quite understand how to control your portions or things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. And that's where and we'll get into what to do on vacation, but just point is knowing that we are about to go on vacation, let's control things as best we can. Knowing that things are going to be off, no matter what we control there, it's not going to be as perfect as what it can be at home. So if you have 2 weeks leading up to vacation, be intentional. Get your damn workouts in, right? Get your water taken. Like stay strict to all the things the habits that you are trying to build, right? You should be even more intentional. And it should be even easier for you to follow it, knowing you're going to get kind of a break from that rigidity once you get off on the vacation. So capitalize on that and really crush it leading into that. Nutrition, especially, right? Maybe you shouldn't be going out to eat 2 or 3 times that week. Really, ideally, that shouldn't be the case anyway. But if that is the case for you normally, you're going to go on vacation from a financial aspect, from a financial aspect, you can, you'll be saving money on it, but also you're saving cheat meals because you're about to have 2 days worth of cheat meals or a whole week's worth of cheat meals or whatever. And we'll kind of talk about that here in a second. But so knowing you're going to have some of that splurging going on vacation, be intentional and earn that shit, right? Don't blow it out the water now just because your vacation's coming up. So crush it leading all the way up into it. So that's first and foremost. Crush it leading into vacation. Now, when you get to vacation, like I said, in my situation, I don't know what the hell the food looks like in Portugal. We're going to figure it out. I'm just going to eat whatever I want to over there for the most part. But even when I say I'm going to eat whatever I want to, it's going to be similar to what I do here in that I'm not just going to be getting all the sweets just because I'm on vacation and I can eat like an asshole and have all the sweets in the world, right? I'm still going to enjoy whatever the pastries look like and some of the desserts and stuff of that nature. Like I'm going to enjoy my time and try their delicacies over there. But every restaurant I go to, I'm still going to have access to getting to be able to prioritize protein, right? I'm still going to have access to healthy sides and stuff of that nature. So that's what I'm going to make sure that I'm prioritizing. But I'm also, on the same time, going to enjoy myself and try out their different foods and stuff of that nature. Again, it's only for a week or so. And then I'm back into my routine there after that. You're not going to blow it all out unless you're just intentionally saying, screw it, and just eating the craziest things and stuff of that nature. Now, if I'm here in America, I have a better understanding of the menus of when I go to a place, what I can get, and then I can keep things pretty clean with it. So, if I'm going to a vacation like here in America, or even whenever I'm over there in Portugal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prioritize 1 or 2 quality, nutrient-dense meals a day, right? I'm at least going to make sure I get that in. And then maybe for dinner, or if we're at a place and I'm like, this food item looks amazing, really want to try this. It might be, decadent, it might be more rich in calories and stuff of that nature. Then that's my one kind of screw off meal, if you will, that I'm just going to enjoy. But my other meals, I'm still being conscious of the proteins. I'm still being conscious of my water intake and things of that nature. And again, like my baseline, even on vacation, is still pretty elevated in terms of I'm still going to get a gallon of water in. That might require me to like I know when I went down to Mexico, the first thing we did, because we were staying in an Airbnb, is we went to like a supermarket, which is always a fun time in a different country, see all the different stuff they have there. And we just got crazy amounts of water just so we could at least control that one thing. And so that's what you should do on vacation. If you go to Vegas, the first thing you should do, because they're not going to have waters for you that aren't $15 in the hotel or the hotel room itself, is make sure you have that stuff with you, right? I'm going to go drop $30 just on waters to make sure I have it in my room if I'm going somewhere like Vegas or really anywhere that I'm going. that's going to be a priority to me. What's actually funny, side note, and I thought about this earlier today, that I should mention on it. People struggle with water intake, right? What's funny about that is I'm so good with water intake and I keep it such a priority that Lola goes nowhere with water, right? She has this little sippy cup that she's been drinking out of for about 2 weeks now. There's not a day that doesn't go by now that this isn't filled up first thing in the morning, and it's located in a spot where I can give her water at any given point. She's not out sweating, right? She's fine. She's being hydrated through her milks and stuff of that nature, but I have that water always on hand. So if I can remember, even for my daughter who's not saying that she's thirsty, shouldn't be that hard for other people to remember their water intake for themselves, right? I'm doing it for 2 people, and actually 3 people because I'm helping Nicole remember as well. So water intake even on vacation. Wild, right? And that's also how you're going to keep some of the extra weight off, because what's going to happen is you're going to go on vacation, you're going to be eating out for majority of your meals, and whether you're local or somewhere else, they're probably adding lots of salts, right? They're using lots of oils and stuff in what they're cooking. Sometimes you're gonna be a little bit more inflamed depending on where you're going and what the foods you're eating. Like I said, you can always control water intake. And so if you're not drinking water, if you're forgetting that, if you're like, I'm on vacation, I'm gonna have beers with every meal and I'm gonna have whatever else, now you're underhydrated. Now you're retaining water because of that. Then the food that you're eating out with is causing you to retain even more weight. So that's why people come back 10, 15 pounds up after a 5-day vacation, because they are severely dehydrated, whether they know it or not, and they've overfed on a lot of those things as well. I got to go handle this AC do real quick. Renee, you want to take over for a few minutes? Kind of talk
Yeah.
about what you're thinking about doing leading up to your vacation and during.
Yeah. Well, so on my vacation, food generally tends to look, I have allergies, so my food intake is different than most people. I can't go on vacation and just fully let go, unfortunately, because even when I'm on vacation, I still won't eat the things I'm allergic to. But I won't really know what I'm going to be eating in Mexico, which was worrisome to me. But I feel like typically I can always find like a meat like fish or chicken or something, and fruit, vegetables, things like that. But it is a little bit more challenging for me to kind of go on vacation. And again, this is where I have a leg up on some people, where I get that immediate, like, I don't know what the right word is, but immediately I know food is not right for me. And so I can't fully indulge on certain things, but so I plan to just eat what I can. I won't track my portions and things like that. I won't track my calories when I'm on vacation. But I will still eat what is going to benefit my body, because I don't want to feel super inflamed and bloated and just sick on vacation. So that's what I plan to do for Mexico at least, but that's an all-inclusive. So again, no idea what the food's gonna look like. Hopefully it'll be fine. I get worried when I go on vacation because I don't know what I'm gonna be able to eat. Same thing with Denver the week after. That's a little bit easier because I'll stay at my friend's house. We can kind of get groceries if I need to. I can always bring like protein shakes and things like that for breakfast. Easier to kind of navigate when you're at a friend's house on vacation versus when you're at a place you don't have access to a kitchen. So that's my plan for the way I'm going to eat. Now, let's say I didn't have my allergies, but I was very strict on my fitness regimen still. I would do likely what Marcus is going to do, as far as like 2 meals a day, maybe pretty good, make me feel good. And then 1 meal a day, maybe indulge in dessert. Most people also tend to indulge in alcohol on vacation, which that's going to dehydrate you more, B, just kind of add more calories. So it really just depends on what you're wanting from that vacation. And again, I think how far you are into your journey. When you're 2+ years in, you know you have that discipline built. Whereas if you just started your healthy journey 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and you go on vacation and you go balls to the wall, it's going to be a lot harder to get back into your routine, your discipline and routine, and healthy food and meal prep and things like that. So it's really just about kind of like that 80-20 rule. when you're at home, you want to focus on 80% of the time healthy foods, 20% of the time your fun foods. What you don't want is vacation. I feel like what you don't want to do is 20% healthy, 80% bad food. I would say as best as you can, maybe like 60-40 it or 50-50 it, because just fully not caring about it, your body's going to notice it. And you worked hard to get your body to the systems to where it's fueling on better foods. And so a lot of you probably can kind of tell if you eat food that isn't benefiting you, you'll probably know pretty similar once you've started eating like that whole food space diet. So yeah, that's kind of my approach. And I'm kind of rambling here. Any questions? For me? Lauren, you want to talk about your move or what your plan is? Lauren, I kind of talked about her plan for her move. She's moving next week. And so when you're moving, similar to what I talked about when I moved, you don't really have access to a kitchen. You can't, I mean, you could have meals prepped before you move if your kitchen stuff isn't all packed up. But then not knowing where like her gym situation is going to be and things like that, what she can do is get in walks. If at the very least she can't make it to the gym because she's trying to unpack. And of course, you want to prioritize those things because you can't really live a life if like there's no point in going to the gym when you could be unpacking if unpacking is what's going to set you up for success. So that's yeah. Lauren, any comments?
No, I agree with that. And then trying to prioritize my meals whenever possible. Unfortunately, we won't have a refrigerator
Oh,
for like a
good.
day.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a little hard. But just being intentional about what I'm eating and not just being like, oh, screw it, like let's just go get McDonald's. Like,
Right.
trying to be more intentional about what I'm eating and making sure, like, even when I was on vacation, having at least a
Yes, you went
couple of
on.
meals.
Yes, you want to talk about that? You went on your bachelorette party. We
I
had a good
did.
approach with that too. And this is the thing too about communicating what you're doing before you're going. Lauren was very adamant on communicating, hey, I have my bachelorette trip coming up. Let's focus on this or let's do this. And I'd gotten her goals from it, like what she had in mind of, well, do you want to fully go in vacation mode or do you want to still focus on what you can? And she was like, I want to enjoy, some of those are my favorite foods there. So I want to enjoy it, but I also want to feel good. And so she prioritized her protein and prioritized healthy breakfast where she could. So yeah, I was really proud of her and how she handled that vacation. And then came back and she is a good communicator. And so she got right back on track on meal prep and her gym routine. But it's kind of nice to have those few days off to just enjoy and not have to think so much. But the biggest thing is just getting right back on track.
Yep, I agree with that. And I was worried about like, oh no, like, am I going to gain like a bunch of weight from this trip? Didn't like cut loose, but I just was like, oh my gosh, like, is the scale going to be bad? And it wasn't. So
Yeah.
And even if it is though, because for a lot of people that scale will be up, we don't gain body fat that fast, right? Even if you're on a 2-week long vacation, unless you're just eating like an asshole the entire time, you're not going to gain body fat that fast with it. That's usually just water retention from either the foods you're eating or just the stress of traveling and stuff of that nature. And so are you guys talking about, I just got back, on like what to do after vacation?
No, I was just
Oh, okay.
rambling about what I plan to do on when I'm in Cancun
Fantastic.
and how I can't really go balls to the wall because of my allergies.
Yeah.
Um,
That always keeps you in check.
yeah, but then we talked about how where you're at in your journey is going to make a bigger difference as well. If you just started 4 months ago, then you're not going to have those like solid as foundations as someone that's been consistent for years.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's okay. And just kind of learning how you want to approach it and then focusing on certain meals where you can. And yeah.
Well, when it comes to just going to vacation with what you want to be intentional about, right? Like depending on where you're at in your journey and also like how important your goals are. That's a big piece of it as well. And like, first off, you can prolong things, you can push things back, right? This nobody's here is doing a sprint with it. But again, like, you know, if you have a really big goal and you want to improve your digestion and you want to drop 25 pounds, whatever the case is, and you're maybe halfway there, if it's a really big deal for you to do those things, especially if you have digestion issues, then yeah, you want to keep things a little bit cleaner and control even more than not. But you know, if you've been killing it for a year or whatever the case is, and you're in this for the long game, enjoy your vacation and come back home and get dialed in with it. But you know, the scale, like I said, it for a lot of people will be up. Now, for me, on the flip side of that, this is because of how high I keep my calories throughout the year and things of that nature. Is when generally whenever I go on vacation, I actually still miss calories because I'm used to having 4 or 5, you know, pretty hearty meals each day, quite a few calories with it. So I'll come back sometimes, and stress is down lower as well. So I'll come back and I might be a few pounds down. But a lot of people, they'll come back and weight's up a little bit. But again, what you can't do is self-sabotage. And so now let's kind of talk about when you're coming back from a trip is, first and foremost, do not self-sabotage. Do not allow yourself to snowball. You already had a vacation. You come back, get right back on track. Get right back to the habits that you were doing prior. Because the longer
That means that
go, the longer that negative momentum is going to build.
prioritize your meals first as well. When you get back, make sure you have groceries to set yourself up for success. If you get back on a Sunday, either use Sunday evening to do so or Monday evening. Even if you have a workout plan for Monday, do your best to skip the workout and get groceries and stuff planned for that, because your meal, like, yes, workouts are important, but that's maybe 200 calories a day that you're burning when you're working out versus
well, and that's one workout
solid.
that you're now sacrificing nutrition the rest of the week just for one workout.
Right,
That's not an even swap whatsoever.
Nutrition is the rest of the week, or for the rest of however long until you get to the grocery store. And so controlling that nutrition is going to be the best thing to then energize you after being off for those few days.
Yep.
And so nutrition, I would say, comes first, and then workouts, a lot of that is just discipline. Like, you just have to show up and get yourself back into the gym.
Yep.
It's not hard once you get back into it.
No.
But nutrition is the first thing I would say on vacations that tend to spiral.
Yeah, definitely.
And then just deciding if you want to control, like if you want to work out on vacation or if you don't want to work out, again, just where you're at and what's personal for you and your journey. Lauren, I know she, like I said, it was her bachelorette party. So it wasn't just a random vacation, but she's trying to be in the best shape she can for her wedding. And so of course she's going to approach that differently, knowing she's like, well, I don't want to reverse all my progress, which she wouldn't, but knowing she has a wedding coming up.
Yeah.
Whereas, like one of my other clients, Amber, she had already gotten married and then went on a honeymoon. And so the way you approach your honeymoon is going to be a little bit different than you would pre-wedding.
Yep.
So,
yeah. So, you know, one of the other things too, so Renee make a good point that as soon as you get home from vacation, in order to get your nutrition back on track right away, that needs to be your first priority, right? Obviously work is gonna be your priority whenever you get back, but if you get back on a Thursday, should you say, I'm going to keep vacation going until Sunday and then get back on track come Monday? Or should you get back on track on Thursday or Friday? You should get back on track on Thursday or Friday, at least in some ways, right? Lola. You should get, you know, you might not even be able to control all your meals, but shit, again, a little bit is better than none. So you might not be able to control 4 meals a day once you get back in town, but you can control at least 1 or 2 of those meals, right? You know, if we have protein powder at home, there's at least 1 meal. We can control that. We can have protein shake and some fruit. That's a very easy grab and go thing. So maybe you didn't have enough time and maybe you didn't prioritize getting to the grocery store, but you still have that type of stuff. You might have eggs sitting in the fridge that's good to go, even though you're on vacation. They'll last for at least a couple weeks anyway. So if you got eggs, then boom, there's your second meal of the day as well. So you can at least control those few things. But again, I would prioritize getting to the grocery store as fast as you can once you get back home and make that a priority to lock back into. But what I recommend even more so, and this is how I do my meal prep anyway, but prep before you go out of town. So like if you're prepping on Sunday and you go out of town on Saturday, you know, the following week, double prep your food. Make sure you have at least your proteins cooked, because that's always what takes the longest amount of time to prep is your proteins generally. So when you're prepping on Sunday for this coming week, knowing that you're going to go out of town on Saturday, prep extra, even if it's just a couple days worth, put that shit in the freezer. That way, as soon as you get back home, you might get home on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, toss it in the fridge, and it's going to be thawed up by the next day. Now you at least have 1 or 2 meals the next few days that you can eat in interim. So again, you might not be controlling everything, but you're at least controlling a couple meals, if nothing. And just that discipline of getting locked back in, you're going to feel better because of it. You're going to appreciate that from yourself, that you were able to do that for yourself as well. But again, as soon as you get home, vacation's done. Right? Maybe that night, if you get home at the airport at 8 p.m. on a whatever night, yeah, you might just grab some Chick-fil-A on the way home or Chipotle. I'll do that as well. Like, I'm not going to come home and cook at that point. But that very next day, I'm controlling every single thing that I can. If that means getting the gym, fantastic. But it definitely means getting my nutrition, my water, my sleep, and everything else back into rhythm as fast as I can. And what's probably going to happen to pretty much everybody, when you come home from vacation after you kind of, loosen the reins while you were on vacation, you're going to come home and you're going to tend to want to keep eating and keep living like you were on vacation, even though you're not anymore. It's normal. It's normal for you to want that. Don't beat yourself up because you have that want. That doesn't mean that you're losing this shit. It just means that you were out of your routine. And especially if you're newer at this, you haven't had the months and the time and the years of making this stuff really, really habitual with it. But even then, I'm still going to want to be on vacation mode when I'm not on vacation mode anymore.
I think I did that
that's
too.
Discipline. That's where discipline comes in.
Yeah, I had said that to Lauren because I had moved in the middle of my cut. And there was 2 nights we had to eat out because of it. And it was so much harder for me to, and I'm very disciplined on my diet anyways, but it was very hard for me to get right back into my cut after having those couple of days off. Cause I was like, okay, I shouldn't get this stuff out of the house. Like someone else can take home the leftover pizza and things like that. Cause it's so much easier to eat it. You're like, well, I already ate it once, but I'll just eat it tomorrow. Like it's fine still too. So yeah, just being intentional with it, getting right back locked in. And again, it just comes down to communication, especially you guys having a coach, having that availability to get advice and to get that help, communicate it, and we'll help guide you. But being prepared is the best way. I talk often about like tuna. Tuna's a really easy one to do. Grilled chicken, like just buy grilled chicken from, there's a spider hanging right over there. That's great. Grilled chicken, just buying it from the store, and then you have it ready to go. And like the microwavable rice, that's so easy. So just easy meals. If you're not going to get home and fully prep like your intricate meals that you want that week, get easy ones to make that week.
That's a great point. Yeah. The basics will get you through as you need it as well. But yeah, so that's the biggest piece of advice of all this. Let's say you screwed up the last 2 weeks going into vacation. You already mentally got on vacation mode for those 2 weeks leading into it. You go and you do nothing right on vacation. You don't drink your water. You don't sleep well. You eat whatever you want, whenever you want. Let's say that's you. When you get home, this is when you have to get back to real life. You have to get back to why you're doing this shit in the first place. Why are you here in the first place? You have to come back to those whys and get back to your discipline. You're not going to want to, like I promise. And unless your digestion's just really wrecked and you're like, I want nothing more than just have bland meals, which is honestly, sometimes that's me as well. It's like, I want nothing more to get back to my routine, but you're still been in vacation mode and you're going to want to enjoy yourself whenever you get back home. So that's just the biggest key, is focus on that discipline of getting locked in as fast as you can.
That's kind of, I feel like, it on the vacation side of things. Any questions, anyone?
Again, when you're on vacation, the easiest rules to follow are water intake. Every morning, whether you're at home or on vacation, you start every day with water. And if you don't have it in your room, wherever you're staying at, that's on you. Prepare. Come prepared with that, right? Get it from the damn guest shop if you need to. Drink tap water if you need to. Whatever the case is, come prepared. That should be something you're trying to check off once you get settled, you understand your surroundings wherever you're at. Prioritize making that happen, right? And then obviously whenever you're eating out, let's say you eat out for every single meal. Again, prioritize protein even with the dirtiest of the meals, right? So make sure you're getting that stuff in, right? Fill up on that stuff.
Get pasta, put chicken in it.
Exactly. Yes.
Just little things like that.
Yes, exactly. So be intentional with that stuff. Lead with that. But then again, you're still on vacation, right? None of this makes any sense if we just have to live this insanely rigid thing for the rest of our life. Even whenever we're home, I don't think we have anybody living a really, really rigid plan anyway with it. But when you're on vacation, I still want you to be on vacation. That's the whole purpose of all of this stuff, right? You should be able to enjoy the balance of doing that. But the longer you're doing this with us as well, is hopefully you're establishing those healthy mindsets and that healthy balance while you're here on your normal days and your normal weeks and stuff of that nature, so that you can go on vacation and not feel so stressed about following this plan or whatever the case is. Now, on the flip side of that, there are some people that have major health issues going on, right? There are people that, I have a couple people that I've gotten some GI maps back from here recently that doesn't look good, right? Their gut is totally screwed. And so in those situations, we're like, listen, you can go off and have this vacation or whatever the case is a month after we've kind of started your protocol, but all you're going to do is reset the clock on this. And the work that you've been putting in to fix some things is and so those are different people, right? So you have to know where you're at and kind of what your situation is to know what your kind of leniency is with that. So I there's some clients where I'd be like, listen, you're gonna have to take all your supplements with you. You're gonna have to follow the plan just like you were here at home. That might require you to have a hotel room, whatever the case is, that has a kitchenette, so you can be totally in control of your food and stuff of that nature. That's not what I would recommend to 99.9% of people, but some people have a health situation that's going on that should take precedent over you wanting to have fun on vacation right now until we get shit figured out, right? But again, that's the outlier. That's somebody who has a deeper situation. So everybody else, balance, lead with good intentions, and come home and get back on track as fast as you can. You'll be golden.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it though. Anybody on the call got any questions? If you have a trip coming up, you guys want to talk about that, what you should do, plan ahead, stuff of that nature. All right, rock and roll. Well, happy June, everybody. This is our first June call. There will be no Zoom call next week. The couple weeks after that, we will still have Zoom calls. I posted that schedule. I forgot what the topics are going to be. Renee may or may not be on those calls because she's got her trips coming up as well. But like I said, no Zoom call next week. The rest of the month, there will be Zoom calls though. Quick reminder, and I'll post this in the group as well. My clients are not checking in on the 13th, which is next week. But tomorrow, over the next couple of days, the 6th and 7th, do still get your check-in done. I'm still here until Sunday technically, but Saturday is when I'm like checking out, finishing up, packing, and doing all my stuff as well. So get your check-ins done over the next couple of days. Next week I'll be out of town. And then we're back.
I'll go over my clients with my plan for check-ins when I'm gone with you guys as well. So hang tight on that.
Perfect. Well, everybody else, thanks for showing up a little bit early tonight on tonight's Zoom, and see you guys on check-in day. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
See you guys.